Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, the series where we take a look at some of the leading TCG deck lists. Today we have Nick's list from the Southampton Regional, where he took second place using Trickstar Sky Strikers. So the kind of list that we haven't seen being super popular for quite a while. But obviously, if you were watching the stuff from like YCS London, or more recently, you may have seen Ping taking this to kind of new heights with it, to be honest. So let's get into the list. Triple Ash Blossom, triple Droll, triple Impermanence, triple Candina, triple Licorice, and the one Lilybell. Triple Light Stage, double Terraforming, triple Engage, triple Anchor, much more popular now, one Hornet Drones, triple Econ. This is a bit more of an unusual take on this. Triple Desires, double Scapegoat, double Call By, and triple Reincarnation. Most of this is fairly standard, apart from the enemy controllers. I think compared to sort of modern lists, having the 9 hand traps, obviously, you have to choose those, particularly based on the kind of matchups you expect to face. For the extra deck, we have Borreload, Cerberus Phoenix, Unicorn, Link Spider, Linkaribo, Hayate, double Kagari, and Shizuku. Space Insulator, Topologic Bomber Dragon, Trisbana, Triple Burst, and Borrelsword. So no Holy Angel in here. Sort of maxing out on various utility pieces. Obviously the Nightmares doing their usual jobs. Borreload being especially good in Thunder Dragon against Thunder Dragon's Borrelsword, just stealing games at particular points. And Triple Burst does have its uses under different scenarios as well. For the side deck, Triple Twisters, Triple Evenly, triple Herald of the Abyss. Again, this is a pretty new card. We haven't seen a lot of it recently, obviously because it's just come out. So it's interesting to see where it fits into the meta. Certainly has its uses within this deck. And then, rather interestingly, he's gone for the artifact engine here. So one side, triple Sanctum, and double Lancia, opting to play those as extra sort of hand traps. So you essentially have 5 copies of Lancia here, which is pretty nice to see. So that is it for the list itself. Let's go on to the siding strategy next. So if we take a look at the siding that we have here, first off he's showing us against Danger Dark World FTK. So going first, putting in the artifacts, you can hit them with the Lancia and then they get completely screwed over. And you can hit them with a side and then they just can't make the combo go off, so they have to sort of summon all their big guys and hope to beat you down. But without access to Borrelsword, it can be a little bit tricky. So going first, he's actually taking out the double Scapegoats here. 1 Desires, 1 Licorice, and 1 Widow Anchor. I'm not doing an awful lot with the Widow Anchor there, they've just put out too many names. Going second, just putting in the Lanciers, that'll leave you with 11 hand traps essentially. And again, we have Licorice and Desires coming out. For Thunder Dragons, again, 5 artifacts coming in when you go first. They're just really versatile in this matchup. Taking out 3 Drolls, which don't really do anything here, and the 2 Scapegoats, they can probably just get rid of all your tokens, thanks to virtually unlimited Titan Pops there. Going second, he's putting in the Heralds of the Abyss. You do have to be able to out those Colossuses on the board, and Herald is a nice way to be able to just get rid of them. And having the Lanciers too can stop them from making bigger pushes and getting that Titan out. Is having to sacrifice 1 Reincarnation and 1 Impermanence here, but that's not an awful lot to be taking out, to be honest. Then for Sky Strikers, putting in the Twisters and taking out the Impermanences we're going first. That seems pretty much fair enough, to be honest. You out more resources with the Twisters than you do with Impermanence. For going second, putting in the Herald of the Abyss as well. You can deal with the Link monsters without having to worry about Ray and stuff like that. For against Altergeist, going first, putting in Twisters and Evenly. It doesn't really matter whether it's first or second when you're siding against a slower deck like Altergeist, so you tend to have the same siding strategy mirrored first and second, and that is what we see here. Droll is basically useless in this matchup. Widow Anchor doesn't do an awful lot, so that's coming out too, as well as Desires and Econ. Then against the Rongaminiad Turbo decks, going first, pretty much the same as we've seen versus the other combo decks. You put in your 5 artifacts and you take out the slower cards in the deck. And then going second, putting in the Lanciers, and you need the Herald of the Abyss as well because it does actually out that, which is pretty interesting. And finally for Burning Abyss, going first, putting in the artifacts, and going second, putting in the Heralds. You can out the Beatrice without actually having to worry about things too much. That's it for the siding strategy. For the rounds that you played, round 1 against Cyber Dragons he went 2-1. Round 2 against Paleo, he went 2-0. Round 3 against Cyber Dragons, he went 2-0. So a lot of Cyber Dragons here already. Round 4 against Burning Abyss, piloted by Tom Rose, he went 1-2. This is his only loss, and he lost in time by 100 life points, so a bit unfortunate there, but it does happen. Round 5 against Blue Eyes 2-0, round 6 against Pendulum 2-0, round 7 against Thunder Dragons 2-1. So there's a pretty interesting spread of decks that he's faced. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4 non-meta. So it's essentially 50-50 between, well, yeah, it's slightly more non-meta than meta, I guess, because Blue Eyes, Cyber Dragons, and Paleo, you wouldn't really count those as typical meta decks that he's faced off against. So it looks like a very diverse format that was going on at the Southampton Regional, and certainly it's a time for a great deal of uncertainty within the format, especially at the bigger regionals where people just go along and take basically anything that they find interesting. It's kind of a good point in the format for that, despite the existence of all these FTKs and things running around. As for questions that I asked him about the list in the event, so first of all I asked him how was the event. He said it was well run, the rounds followed quickly, one after the other, and that's always a bonus. As for why he decided to play Trickstar Strikers, he feels that the deck is well positioned right now, as hand traps are more important with FTKs and combo decks running around. Also, once Summon Sorceress comes out, he feels like the deck will kind of fall off the map a bit, so he wants to play it once more before that happens. Then I mentioned that Ping has sort of popularized the 3 Anchor 3 Mind Control within the main, and I wanted to know why he decided to play Econ instead of Mind Control. He said that it's more versatile in terms of what it can do. You can use it to outplay Eagle Booster by chaining. It can also be used defensively, taking a key link monster for a turn, which can really stop your opponent's plays. Also being able to attack with the monster you take is actually a really big deal. He just likes the card in general, as it allows for more ways to play around things. I think the last time that he brought the deck to the channel it included Sky Blasters, so I just wanted to know why he decided to move away from that. He said it was mainly really good with drones, and since you only have the one drones, it isn't really worth it in the modern version of the deck. A typical thing for this sort of deck is that the extra deck feels very tight. I wanted to know if he would ever consider putting a Holy Angel in here. He says it still feels very tight. He wanted to fit the Hip Starlink too in, and it did come up a couple of times, but he couldn't actually manage to get it in there. As for Herald of the Abyss inside a brand new card, is it worth the spot? He says it's very good. In a lot of matchups it provides you with ways to out big monsters, and it can out the Striker Link even through a booster and not triggering Ray, which is very, very important. As for the Artifact Engine inside, again it's sort of this atypical choice, but he wanted something for going first versus the Rongo style decks that says end the turn, while also being a good side deck option against something like Thunder Dragons, which is very popular at the moment. As for the hardest and the easiest matchups, the hardest matchups are usually Thunder Dragon and Burning Abyss, as these decks can pressure you as good, if not better, than your deck can actually apply pressure. As for changes that he'd make to the list, he would have to rethink things post Summon Sorceress. He wants to try Trap Trick in the side for more copies of Sanctum, as a good option to just stop, to make your turn 1 plays a lot more likely to go through. As for shoutouts to Alex Robertson and Alex Moffat, who went with him to the event, and shoutouts to Southern YGO and to Dan Teeling for lending him the scythe. So thanks very much, Nick, for coming on with your Trickstar Strikers, taking 2nd place at Southampton. Congratulations there on another very successful top. And although maybe we won't be seeing you bring Trickstar Strikers back into the fray when Summon Sorceress comes out, perhaps we'll be seeing you again with a different deck in the future. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching this episode of Top Deck. If you have any comments or suggestions that you would like to make, leave them in the comment section down below. Check out the description for details of how you can get involved in this series. You can enter by voice interview, or instead you could just send all of your information over Facebook Messenger. Anything like that will be absolutely fine. If you want to see anything in particular from the upcoming series, then be sure to get in touch, and I'll see you guys in the next video.